Look at this. Look at this. The kitchen garden is planted. And it has a nice little top dressing of mushroom compost, which makes it look so clean and tidy because I love my kitchen garden, my edible garden, my veggie gardens to be as pretty as my flower gardens. So yeah. Hey y'all, have you got your garden planted yet? I'm doing pretty good. So let me show you what I have. So when I talk about the kitchen gardens, that includes my herb beds over behind the house and off the patio, and then my raised veggie beds here. Now, in particular, the raised veggie beds, we call them Ireland. Ireland? Why Ireland, Annie? Because himself and I took a very lovely trip to Ireland for our 25th wedding anniversary. And we have such fond memories of that. And one of the things we did is we did the Ring of Beara and the Ring of Dingle. So since we have the three peninsulas, we have named them the Ring of Beara, the Ring of Kerry, and the Ring of Dingle. Now, you may be wondering, why do you need to name everything? Because it's fun. And also, that way I can say if there's something I need somebody to go get out of the garden, I can say, oh, it's in the Ring of Kerry, or it's in the Ring of Dingle. And so this year, cucumbers are in the Ring of Dingle. We did a bit of crop rotation. So let me show you what all I have planted. As you may remember, this year I'm trying out the Texas tomato cages. I've only got the first layer here right now. We'll just add to them as the tomatoes grow. Didn't see any point in bringing out the extra layers when they're still this small. But I plant a mixture of heirlooms and hybrid tomatoes, mostly because I have my favorites, and that's what I love. Starting with the yellow 1884 Pinkheart. It is a big yellow slicing tomato, and it has, when you slice it open, it has just these little stripes of pink through there. It's just a beautiful tomato and tasty as well. And then we have the Juane Flame, is a small, it's kind of just a workhorse tomato. It's good to cook with. It's good just to eat. And it's not overly big, and it's very prolific. So just a great tomato. Both of these and those down there, my heirlooms, I'll get from the Tomato Man's daughter in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, the only two that I did not get from her are my two hybrids, which are Sunsugars. Sunsugar is my absolute favorite cherry tomato. It's a bright yellow, just like snacking. You can just eat them right off the vine. Love them, love them, love them. A lot of people plant Sun Gold. I don't know why, because it's not nearly as sweet, I think, in my opinion, as Sunsugar. So these two I got from my local farmer who was growing plants that you could pre-order and then pick up at the first weekend of the farmer's market. So got those. So I got two of those because they're my favorites. And then this one is another heirloom Roughwood golden tomato. It is a paste tomato. And so it's great for pizza and cooking, and it doesn't have a lot of juice, and it's a beautiful tomato. So it's it's a paste tomato, as it were. And the only one that is not yellow or orange, black cherry. And it is a cherry tomato, and it is basically a miniature version of Cherokee purple. I don't plant Cherokee purple, I love them. They taste wonderful and all, but they have a lot of problem with cracking and splitting, and then they get messy and bugs get on them. And it's hard to get a really pretty Cherokee purple. So I just buy those at the farmer's market and enjoy the black cherries here at home. So last year I overplanted, so we went with our 6 favorite. As I say, they're all heirlooms except for the 2 Sunsugars. All the heirlooms I've come from the Tomato Man's daughter. And yeah, I think this will be enough for us as a family. Now, because I plant yellow and purple tomatoes, occasionally there are some people who it's not a tomato unless it's a big red slicing tomato. So if we're going to be having company over and grilling burgers or whatnot, and I know there's somebody who prefers a red slicing tomato, then I'll just get that at the farmer's market. They're not my particular favorite, so I'm not gonna give space to them in my garden. And then over here in the Ring of Barra, we have our strawberries. These are called Pineberry, and they're actually a little like they're a white strawberry with little red dots and supposedly have a little bit of a pineapple taste to them. So we shall see. And then we've got cilantro, a bit of greens. We've had trouble with our greens this year. It's just been so hot that they've not been coming on. I've got a few starts in there, and I've also just added some bunching onions that somebody gave me some seed for those, and I added a few more salad greens. So this area we'll probably put some spinach in there, just greens and whatnot. And then over here, let's see, let's pan over here. So this side, this is shelving that we zip tie together. I've sowed some snow peas here on these first 2. I also last year really overplanted on the cucumbers. It was my first year growing in raised beds, and everything just went crazy. So we've tried to cut down a little bit so we can have more variety and whatnot. And then this section here is my cucumbers. Normally I don't plant cucumbers until the end of April, 1st of May, because they do like it pretty warm. But it has been so hot, and so it's muggy and humid today. But it's been so warm that I'm like, well, Baumgart's had a flat, so let's just go with it and get them in the ground. So this variety is Parisienne, which is a little gherkin. I like a gherkin pickle. I like a dill gherkin pickle. So last year we planted twice this many, and by the end of the season I was just like, oh, no more cucumbers. So that's what we have there. And then back here we have our peppers. Let's go look at the peppers. So back here where all the peninsulas meet, we call this the Healy Pass, because beautiful area of Ireland and very mountainous, and I'll see if I can find a picture of it, but it just, you go up and over the mountains to I think it's from Barra to Kerry actually, but it's a beautiful area. And so, yeah, so the Ireland beds. So back here in the Healy Pass, we have our peppers, and we go from mild to hot. We tend to do more hot peppers than mild, simply because that's what himself likes. I like some, but not nearly as hot as him. So we have a sweet habanero, a habanero with no heat. And then this one, a little 4-pack that I got, chili pepper, that came from Baumgart's. We're going to say it right. Mini bell peppers that develop a mildly hot flavor once fruit matures from green to red, great in containers. So anyhow, that was a little 4-pack for $1.99, so we thought we'd try it. We don't do a lot of bell peppers. Himself is not a fan, and I can take them or leave them. If I need one for cooking, I can get it at the farmer's market. So I don't do a ton, but those sounded interesting, like they have a little more flavor. And so we have those. What else do we have in here? We have a Thai dragon, a Cayenne, Poblano, jalapeno, habanero, a couple more jalapenos in here. The one that I have not been able to find yet, and I may have to start it from seed. It seems that today when you go pepper shopping, everybody has, when you get to the hot section, they have habanero and then they have ghost pepper. But there is a Jamaican red that's that looks similar to habanero, but it's more red, and it has a slightly different flavor. It's still very hot, but it's not ghost pepper hot. But it seems to be people are just skipping over those. So I need to either find one or start some seed. And then there's also a little white habanero that's like very small, and it has a very smoky flavor. So, and I have some seeds for that. So I need to start those up. So they'll be a little later, but it'll all come together. And so yeah, that is my kitchen garden tour. Everything's looking good, and we've still got our mushroom compost we need to go finish loading over there, putting around the herb bed. And yeah, so that's where we're at with this project. So we'll be moving on now. Well, we got the garden planted a few days ago, and we also did the mushroom compost all around all the plants. But since then, I've added one more thing I wanted to share with you, and that is this sweet little cantaloupe. So I haven't grown cantaloupe in a very long time. I think I tried once or twice years ago, and they didn't do very well, so I just let it go. But I saw this one, and I thought that it would be fun to try. It is from Burpee. There's the seed tag. It is called Sugarcube. Each plant produces several personal size 4-inch mini cantaloupes with extra sweet, deep orange flesh, perfect for small space gardens. I have eaten this one before. I bought it at the farmer's market, but I have not grown it. So I thought it would be a nice addition. So we'll get another. It's supposed to be for small space gardening, but it is a vine. So we'll get another one of our trellises out here for it. So yeah, that'll be fun. So pretty much all I have left to do in the veggie garden is I need to seed some more basil, and I also need some Thai basil and a couple of small things. So I'll pick those up when I'm out and about. But let me show you what else I've gotten accomplished in the last few days. You remember last week when this table was completely covered up with plants? Well, look what is left. I have been working really, really hard. All that I haven't gotten done yet is doing my containers for down by the pond. And then I have 2 perennials left to go in the front border. Now, that's not to say that there won't be more plant shopping. Spring plant haul part 2. I'm sure that is in the works. But I got all that done, and I also, something else I've been doing is amaryllis. Now, over the winter, you love to have them in your house, and I have quite a few that were looking pretty floppy and sad. And then this little guy, who for some reason never bloomed, just now starting. It's called Evergreen. You can tell I've had it a while. My tag is broken, but it's a really cool one. Anyhow, this one just did nothing. So I got to remembering my friend Susie taught a class on amaryllis about what to do with them after they're done blooming, and especially during the summer months. Now, I could leave it in this little pot, and I could set it out here, you know, where it's not just direct sun, maybe morning sun, afternoon shade. But this little pot, I would be watering so much. I don't want to do that. So I remembered what she said is that you can take these and you can plant them out in your garden, put them in a flower bed where they'll get watered. Just leave them out there to grow through the summer. Remember where you put them, though. That is key. You got to remember where you put them. And then sometime in September, I want to say, sometime in September, that you dig them up, and then you do the whole dormancy thing again of putting them, getting rid of the leaves and putting them in the dark for the 2 months or whatever to force them to bloom again in the winter. So yeah, I went and gathered up all my scruffy little amaryllis and I potted them out in the garden as well. So yeah, we've gotten a lot done. Which brings me to my final Friday thought. In the busy gardening season, don't forget to do your laundry. I don't know if you can see them. Let me pan down and show you. I am down to my last pair of gardening jeans. They're pretty bad. They literally should have been thrown out a long time ago. So I'm pretty good about keeping up with laundry. I follow Diane in Denmark's method of trying to do a load every day. But it's been a busy few days, me in the garden, plus we've had company helping us with the project. So yeah, it's a lot going on. So this morning when I was cleaning up the house, and I'm doing sheets and towels because, company, you have more, and tidying the house up a little bit. And then when I had a chance to get out and garden, I go to put some gardening clothes on and realize I have not washed any of my gardening jeans. I have 2 pair. And I just, at the end of the day, just chucked them in the hamper and got a shower and went to bed. So anyhow, yes, that is my final Friday thought. Don't forget to do your laundry. Oh, honestly, yes, these jeans, they really need to go. But I'm glad I didn't because I had something to wear today. So that's it for this week. Stick around for a couple of extras and Flower Friday. And I guess that's all for now. So happy Flower Friday, and I will see you next week. Gus and Gertie are doing a flyover. Hey guys. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I have new toppers and they have hummingbirds on them because the hummingbirds are here. Yes. So I got my feeder out, got syrup made for them, nectar made for them. And find your feeders if you're in my neck of the woods, because they're here. I've had one circling me whilst I've been recording because my feeder's right over there, but I like to think he's saying hi too.